rotting driftwood on the foreign shores, spilling out into the ocean floor, and the memories all you've left without a trace. Paralyzed with the thoughts receding, current sweeps you with the silent bleeding through the heart into the darkest place. Well, turn around, there's nothing to see here. Run away, no reason to be here. It's the ghost who never goes away. Turn around and leave this behind now. You see the ground as it bleeds in the sky now. You fight the sea, you're always gonna drown. All the secrets that you're holding, all the memories you hide, all the frail thoughts that echo in the corners of your mind, they won't even last a moment. They will soon be swept away when the ocean takes you in its arms and carries you away. You carry all your burdens on the cross around your neck. You take whatever's left that you could salvage from the wreck, and the hard past will follow you like a lost dog on the beach, nipping at your trail till you've drifted out of reach. Yeah, turn around, there's nothing to see here. Run away, no reason to be here. It's the ghost who never goes away. Turn around and leave this behind now. See the ground as it bleeds to the sky now. You fight the sea, you're always gonna drown. In the broken line horizon, in the castles made of sand, you tried to hold it in your hands, you tried to understand it. The ocean asks the questions, and it holds the answers too. It dissolves away the lies about the things you thought you knew.
Hello, my friends. 'Tis I, Dame Amateur Kaliranya. My heart and my sword are yours. And 'tis I, Adweleth Karakai II, bastard son of a real bastard. Your hearts are mine. And welcome to the stream. As is traditional, every Sunday, John, author of the fanfiction that we are continuing to narrate our way through week by week. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon or morning, as appropriate.
Happy time zone to everyone, indeed. And we have a good crowd in the chat already. We've got dedicated stream regular from, well, somewhere rather closer to your meridian than usual, John. Roinicorn, over there in Europe as well, just like Mickey hails from, and special friend Mortham. Hello. Yeah. This has been a Roina. No, okay, so now, what else can we do with it? I know. I'll call you Nick. How's that? That's better than corn.
Corny.
Corny.
Corny Ryan.
Corny. Oh, and Moopy has arrived as well. Hello. Welcome, Moopster. Corny. Just scramble it. This has been quite a week for me. Kind of emotionally heavy. We said farewell to our Basenji, our dog Watson. He'd been with us for about 15 years. But his time had come, and that is the duty that we owe to our pets when we take them into our homes. So that was a hard thing, but we are bouncing back from it. Also had some pretty heavy, therapy sessions, just a lot going on this week. But I have managed to kick myself into gear sufficiently to get myself out of bed this morning and get us another stream, because last week we were not available because John was off on an adventure, right?
I'm afraid I'm off on an adventure next weekend as well.
Oh, is that so? What's going on next weekend?
Visiting friends down in Cornwall, which is like a 6.5 hour drive.
Oh, gosh, okay. 6.5 hours, that's comparable to what it would take for me to visit my parents. Like halfway across the states to the south from me. But you should bring us up to speed on what you were up to last time. But it sounded like things did not go quite as expected there either.
Oh, the Balloon Festival Nightmare of Doom. They were supposed to be having hot air balloons. They didn't. They eventually bothered to inflate them around 9:30 in the evening so they could illuminate them in time to music, but by that time we already had to sort of head back to the coach.
Oh gosh. Oh, take care, Murphy. Happy working.
They did fly the balloons the day after, but we weren't there the day after. Although it was a 2-day trip, we did not go back to the balloon place the second day.
Right.
Nobody knows why.
So it was because of weather that they couldn't actually fly the balloons, right?
They had a stunt kite demonstration immediately prior, but the kites wouldn't fly because there wasn't enough wind. And then they go, right, and now that he's packing his kite up, because the only way they could get it to fly was to have him hanging out the top of a Range Rover while it races up and down the field. They then had the meteorologist who said, yeah, that not enough wind that we had is now officially too much wind for the balloons. So one of those events was doomed to failure either way, but as it happens, we were in the sweet spot, so nothing worked.
So was it, as the time went on, was it actually super windy?
No. No, not at all. And the thing is, they dropped us off around 3 in the afternoon. It was boiling hot weather. So we found a bit of shade and just sat down. We just sat down and ate the snacks we had in our bag for 3.5 hours while we waited for him to say, "Shall we get the balloons out now?" And the answer was no. The answer was no, come back in another 3 hours. And I was hoping it was just going to be like a field and like a few people and a load of balloons, and we just walk around going, "Ooh, look at the balloons, aren't they pretty?" But they didn't even get the balloons out. And there was about 50 million people all just milling around. Oh, it was awful. And it was too hot. Far too hot.
So sad. Oh my gosh. So was there anything to do there at all other than just wander around and wait? Like, is there like a fairgrounds kind of thing, or?
There was a fairground kind of thing is the best description of it. Yes, they did have a Ferris wheel. We went on that.
Oh, okay.
They had some other rides that we did not go on because, well, I'm 51, and Diane is older than me, and did not want. There was also I traipsed and queued up and brought Diane a cup of hot chocolate that just tasted like if grey was a flavour.
Well, not to mention that hot chocolate is not ideal for blistering hot weather to begin with, but
it's a British thing apparently that when you're hot, you drink hot drinks to regulate your body temperature. I think that's on the far side of borderline insanity.
I've heard of drinking eating or drinking spicy things when it's hot to like stimulate further sweat production. But as gross as that sounds, but
I do not need that.
No. Oh man, that sounds like the most recent experience like that I've had was last summer. I went to a Renaissance fair. This was my first time meeting my beloved partner, Minnie, the Viscountess of Kyneton, in person. And it was a pirate-themed weekend at this Renaissance fair. And it was just absolutely packed. There were just so many people. Lines were blending into one another such that you had to wait a long time for anything and didn't know where you were supposed to stand for it. Climate apocalypse hot. And I was, of course, just like beside myself, nervous, meeting this crush of mine for the first time. The food was too expensive, and we could not find anything that everyone liked. Like, it had this. We were all hungry. I was trying to go find food for me and the wife, and brought back these like hot beef sandwiches, and she looks at it like, "I'm not eating that. That does not look good to me at all." Like, oh no. just one embarrassment and unpleasantness after another. And we got to see some fun stuff, and it was a memorable occasion, if memorable for many of all the wrong reasons. Yeah, sometimes that sort of thing happens. In a couple weeks' time, we're going to... Actually, I guess it would be just over a week now. Well, no, it is 2 weeks. I can't count calendar days right. We're going to try to do a beach... we're going to have a beach episode. go see Yuzu Adagio. Turns out that another streaming friend also lives in kind of the same city metro area as Minnie, so we're all gonna meet up there and put on some bathing suits and go hit the beach on Lake Michigan. So fingers crossed that that it all goes well, that the weather is cooperative and such. But we'll bring picnic food, and even if it's like raining at the beach, so we'll find some place to sit and eat picnic food. But yeah, kind of excited to meet more people that I've only known online. Yuzu and her spouse. Scalpel Factory is the online name that they use for moderating Yuzu's stream. Yeah. So, you shall see. Anyway, that's quite a lot of intro chit-chat for a stream that's likely to only be an hour and a half, something like that, because another excursion thing going on. The Moth and I are going to go see a friend for a brunch around noon here, so 2.25 hours from now. Anyway, yeah. So it is time to read some fanfiction. This is The Sunnydale Imp by John here. We have cleared 25 chapters. We are now on chapter 26, No Harm, No Foul. Our title character, Miki the Imp, has just suffered an assault. She got into, she kind of submitted herself unto a vampire's trap, right? Just like, this is obviously a trap, but I'm confident in my ability to get out of it, so this is going to be fun. I'll throw myself at it. Turns out they were ready with holy water to spray her down in the hopes that was going to sear, injure, defeat her in the same fashion as it might a vampire. And it kind of worked in that it shut off some of her abilities and dispelled her illusory, clothing, her disguise layer, but it did not melt her. She did not vanish away to smoke like the Wicked Witch of the West. She proceeded to murder several vampires and a couple of their human accomplices before quitting the scene. She wounded Sheridan quite badly, but did not kill her, and I believe same for Keats. Wounded him, but he has not finished him off yet, right?
She did some magic thing to Keats. She
right. She slurped up some of his evil magic, which weakened him. She's got an X-Men rogue style thing where she can siphon off energy from skin to skin contact, right?
Chicken. If she learned, she could probably drain magic from vampires at a distance, but they're not that powerful. So there's not enough there. But considering a vampire without the magic is just a dead body.
Right. There's a fair bit of hocus pocus tied up in simply keeping them up and moving without proper blood circulation and whatnot, right? Okay.
Succulation.
Okay. Yes, right. After that momentous encounter, Mickey retired, or was picked up by Cordelia, and is now gone to ground at Cordelia's posh estate. Right. Morning came, and Mickey awoke on Cordelia's couch, safely wrapped in blankets with her tail tucked against her body so it wouldn't slice anything up. She was fairly sure the claw tips on her wings could still gouge the leather if she wasn't paying attention, but Cordy had been quite insistent that she spend the night. "There's no sense rushing home in the dark," she had said. "Might as well stay put and get your strength back." It seemed like good sense, so Mickey had agreed. It was a chance to recover from her ordeal and recuperate. She sort of hoped for a cuddle as well, but Cordy didn't initiate anything, and Mickey didn't want to push. She didn't know the rules in this world, and some people could be weird when approached. She didn't know whether Cordelia's sudden kindness and acceptance was entirely natural, or down to some leftover charm spell kicking in. Either way, it was nice to have another friend. Somebody who now knew what she really looked like and didn't seem to mind. Plus, Cordelia had a really good eye for style, and Mickey had a ton of new clothing ideas to try out. Rather than struggle her way out of the blanket bundle, Mickey simply teleported herself into the middle of the room. She skipped lightly over to the mirror, admiring the dainty nightwear she'd copied from Cordelia. Once she was sure she'd remembered all the details, she switched to a more familiar jeans and jacket combo, ready to head home. She unlatched the window and pulled it open just a bit, enough of a gap to teleport out. It was going to be a lovely morning, and she felt the steady throb of the redacted as a warming flow of evil power. Wonderful. Did you get the chance to go back through that episode and edit out all the Hellmouth references?
The others, yes.
Yeah. For the audience's benefit, there's supposed to be a sort of a running joke or a planned conceit of this story that Mickey never becomes aware of the name of the Hellmouth. She's just aware of it as a source of evil power that's burbling beneath Sunnydale. John had either not settled on that at this point of the writing, or forgot about it and is now embarking on an edit path to remove all references to Mickey being aware of the Hellmouth name.
So one of two things that I noticed towards the end of the story, I went, "Oh, that's really funny," and then, but it's also completely not true. Yeah.
She glanced fondly back to the bed where Cordelia lay sleeping. She looked so peaceful when she wasn't bossing people around. On a whim, Mickey blinked to her bedside, stood on her tiptoes, and leaned in to plant a gentle kiss on the taller girl's cheek. "Thanks for last night," she whispered. "You probably saved my life." She blinked back to the window, then out onto the ledge. She quietly eased it closed behind her, then hopped casually off into open air, teleporting to the ground and scampering away. Unlike the video game Portal, momentum is not conserved through teleportation. Cordelia listened to the soft click of window closing. She waited several long seconds before turning to make sure she was alone. The imp was gone, leaving behind a cocoon of rumpled blankets on the couch. Cordy smiled and touched a hand to her cheek. She's a sweet kid. Mickey made excellent time getting back to the imp cave. The streets were quiet, so she could cut out some of the running with repeated teleport hops. She wished it were snowing, so she could leave a trail of single footprints spaced really far apart down the sidewalk. It was fun to imagine puzzled strangers trying to figure it out. She even teleported up into the air a couple of times, spreading her wings and using the momentum to glide just a little. It wasn't quite flying, and it was hard work, but she was confident she'd get there eventually. She just needed more power. The thought made her chuckle, and she stage whispered, "More power," as she ran, hamming it up like a cartoon supervillain. Just for fun, of course. There was no harm in pretending, after all. Arriving at her cave's entrance, she found signs that people had been here in her absence. She fussed a bit, nudging branches back into place and brushing over some of the most obvious footprints, before zipping into the tunnel and blinking past the double-elbow security band. Safely inside, she found Xander asleep on her foldy chair, using a jacket as a blanket. She immediately recognized the leather jacket she'd pinched from a vampire the night before. Unfortunately, you like the portals from Portal. Oh yeah, it's very much a part of the fun of that game. But I think for a lot of what Mickey does with her teleportation, it is probably for the best. She doesn't simply splat on the ground when leaping off of buildings and whatnot. She doesn't have long fall boots like Chell does in Portal. Here we see how fast Mickey can change her mind from awed to annoyed. Okay. Was that only last night? Wow, everything before the holy water things feels like it was ages ago. She blinked. That meant she hadn't had any supper, and it was already nearly time for breakfast. She fetched a proper blanket to lay over the sleeping boy, and tidied away the single burned-out candle he'd perched in a saucer at his feet. He must have used one of the stubs for it to burned out already. Candles seem to last much longer in these modern times. Mickey was pleasantly surprised to find that even the little ones had burned for hours. So who's going to give Mickey long fall boots? And don't forget your long fall boots. Can she magic them into existence once seen? Yeah, that's an interesting question. Well, okay, we know that she can stash and retrieve functional items like guns if they are sort of semantically associated as part of the outfit. So, presumably, yes. If she
gave her the boots, she'd be fine, but she can't make them because she doesn't know how they work. She could make some boots with a dangly stick out the back, but she'd probably just trip over it.
Right, yeah, okay. So it wouldn't be part of her conjuration suite, but it could be part of her sort of hammer space power. Yeah. If she possessed a pair of specialized boots. Yeah. The last time she'd had to fend for herself like this, she'd been limited to animal skins, blobs of tallow, and a bed of straw. Her rack of tinned fruits and juices were a modern marvel, and she hummed happily to herself as she set about preparing a healthy breakfast for herself and her guest. She set 2 places at the table: an apple, a bowl of juicy yellow fruit rings, a handful of nutty mixed stuff, and a can of energy drink. A pretty good spread. She surveyed her handiwork, gave it an approving nod, and went to wake up Xander. Her first gentle psst failed to get a reaction. He must have been really tired. She hesitated, wondering how long he'd sat there waiting for her to come home. Poor guy. He must have felt really guilty about telling everybody where she lived. And so he should. Aperture Science, get on it. Get that girl some boots and maybe a portal or gravity gun for good measure. Ah, okay, so there's your idea for your next Mickey fic, John. Mickey in the test facility, sure.
I should drive him bananas.
With her momentary good cheer all but evaporated, she prodded him in the chest. Oi, wake up! Xander came to with a startled yelp, cast his gaze around the room before remembering where he was. Then he realized he wasn't alone, and he started to panic all over again. Mickey raised a hand to stop any babbled excuses before they started. She would also drive GLaDOS bananas, yeah. I forgive you, she said simply. You did a bad thing for a good reason, and I guess everything is okay. No harm, no foul. The boy stared for a moment, his expression wary. After a few beats, he blinked.
That's it?
She shrugged. That's it. I need to trust my friends. I need to trust that my friends can trust their friends too, I guess. Otherwise, I'll be on my own, and I don't want that. Not again. Xander stood up and carefully pulled her into a hug.
You're not alone, Mickey. We've got your back.
Thanks, Xander.
So what happened to you last night? We've been frantic with worry.
Xander had to run away home for a shower and some clean clothes, so Mickey headed to the school to do the same. She cycled casually through some different outfits as she sauntered across the field, trying out some of the ideas she'd discussed with Cordelia. Eventually, she settled on a soft bluey-green dress and a little white jacket, and her black boots, of course. It was early, so there were only a couple of cars behind the school, one of them an empty police car. Mickey figured the cops were inside, probably talking to the teachers and asking the usual questions about likely culprits. She doubted anybody would suggest anything close to the truth. Snyder was in his office, mentally composing a letter to the education board, when the door swung open and Makisha gave it a playful rap with her knuckles. "Knock, knock," she smiled. "Miss Nichols?" He beamed in return. "To what do I owe the pleasure?" "I know you start early, and I didn't want to take any time out of your day, so I thought I'd pop in before people start bugging you with school stuff." "That's very considerate." He gestured to the seat and Makisha sat down. "What can I do for you?" "I spent some time with Cordelia Chase last night, and we have resolved our differences. I promised I'd make sure you didn't forget to cancel that detention," she added with another smile. "I know you were only doing it to protect me." Snyder sat back in his chair, frowning just a little. "That's not true at all. It's important to maintain order. These kids, they'll run amok if you don't rule them with an iron fist." "I handled this problem myself, though, and I'm sure it won't happen again. If I need you to step in, it makes me look weak. It's bad enough people look down on me because I'm small." Snyder bristled. He knew exactly how that felt. He was in the same position every day. Damn these tall kids. "I know we talked about it," he said cautiously, "but I can't just unassign a detention. The principal's power must be absolute and unswerving." The girl laughed, a light, genuine, happy laugh, as though he'd said something funny. Was she laughing at him? At his authority? In that instant, he felt the sick burn of betrayal. He'd thought she was different, that he'd found a student he actually liked. Makisha's dark eyes locked onto his, and he bit his lip nervously. "That's what you're worried about?" she said softly. "Snyder, you're the principal. That's like a king. These kids, they don't even know who they are yet, and they bully each other to establish who's the big fish. But then they see you, and you know what?" Her voice dropped to a near whisper. "They don't like it, because no matter what grades they get, or where they get their shoes, or who they can steal lunch money from, you're in charge. You're the boss. Everybody knows it." He blinked and couldn't help but preen a little. "Yes, I suppose I am. It's good that they realize their place." "And you need to recognize yours. Good ruler makes the rules. You're not a servant, you're the king. If you can assign detention, you can also unassign it. Rules are for the kids, even for the teachers. But somebody has to be in charge, and the man in charge has to be flexible. The right application of force in the right circumstances. Being able to change your mind is part of the job.
Wow. I never thought of it that way.
Snyder straightened in his chair, seeing himself in a much grander light.
I'm not just some pen pusher. I'm responsible for making sure these students get an education. It's down to me to use my resources with finesse and insight.
Okay. Exo and colon. Oh no. No, so, the reference that Rhinocorn is making there is to a visual novel, I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. It was one of my stream series for a while. It bumped into one of my random pauses or mini hiatuses that tends to happen with my streaming. I didn't quite finish it, but it is this just beautiful growing up story about a kid who is born in spaceflight on their way to a brand new remote planet colony. Yeah. Oh, I hear the wife. Okay. Yeah, wife just must have set her alarm for 10, so she just got up ahead of our lunch engagement in a couple hours. But yeah, I let her know that I'd probably be here streaming for maybe another hour. I go up till the next hour mark, and so this will be a little bit shorter than usual, maybe because of the conflicts, and I had some minor technical difficulties getting started today. So, but we will get through certainly this chapter, maybe the next one, depending on length. Yeah.
Next one's short.
The girl nodded approvingly. It's good to be king, isn't it?
It is.
He grinned.
Consider Miss Chase off the hook. This time.
Mickey grinned. I'll let her know you took a lot of convincing.
Thanks.
Cordelia strolled into school feeling pretty pleased with herself. She put it down to Mickey's infectious cheer from the night before. Unlike most of the minions and hangers-on orbiting her, the Devil Girl's friendship actually felt genuine. That felt good. You're looking pretty pleased with yourself, Harmony noted. Naturally, she replied airily. Shanice frowned. Don't you have a detention all next week? Oh, I don't think so. She scanned the corridor and quickly picked out Snyder in his usual lurking spot. She tipped her head back and started walking, her clique falling into place around her. As she'd hoped, the principal took the bait and moved to intercept.
Miss Chase?
He began. Yes, Principal Snyder?
I've decided to cancel your detention next week.
She managed to look almost surprised. That's very gracious of you, Principal Snyder.
Yes, well, let it not be said that I don't adjust to changing circumstances. As your...
And with that, the little man stalked away, leaving Cordelia with her bemused followers. Buffy looked out of the car window as her mom pulled up to the school. It was easy to spot Willow in her fluffy pink sweater. Buffy smiled. Her friend's unintentional cuteness never failed to lift her mood. Thanks, Mom. She flashed a smile and threw open the car door. Enjoy your day off. Joyce gave her a wry smile in return. I'm going shopping, and then I have a bunch of paperwork and then chores. She rolled her eyes. You have a nice day at school. Say hi to Willow for me. Will do. And with that, Buffy hopped out of the car and shut the door, turning her attention to the school. Her Slayer sense pricked at her just for a moment. She paused mid-stride, trying to pinpoint the threat. It felt like Makisha, which made sense, but the contact was gone almost as soon as she registered it. Weird. She briefly wondered what that meant. Buffy! Willow was running now, her expression close to panic. Mickey, your mom, the car. Huh? She glanced around as her mom's car was already pulling away down the street. What are you... Oh my god. A familiar winged figure was clamped onto the roof of the car as it sped away, tail trailing in the air behind her. Buffy gaped. What is she doing? Is she nuts? Someone's going to call the cops. Willow tilted her head. The illusion stops people seeing anything unusual, remember? Buffy frowned. Certainly none of the other kids appeared to have noticed, so that was one less problem to worry about. Okay, but still, what's she playing at? Is my mom in danger? I don't know. I wouldn't think so, but still. Buffy fretted helplessly for a moment. We need to tell Giles. Maybe he can drive to the store and make sure Mom's okay. At least we know Mickey survived whatever happened last night. Buffy nodded absently. Have you spoken to Xander? Yeah, he called my house earlier. Mickey fixed him breakfast. He said she seemed to be in a good mood. Yet somehow I'm still worried, Buffy muttered. Come on. They hurried away, ignoring the other kids who, oblivious to Mickey's antics, were staring at them like they'd lost their minds. A pretty normal occurrence for Buffy and Will, honestly. But, The library was locked, but Willow had her own key, so as soon as the coast was clear, they snuck in and locked the door behind them. There was no sign of the Watcher. He'd stayed up late to deal with the cops, so they assumed he'd at least take the morning off to recover. Naturally, the school didn't have a reserve librarian. The place was even quieter than usual, and Willow looked around nervously. What do we do now? Buffy casually vaulted over the counter and picked up the phone. We give him a call. If he's not stuck here, then he's free to go chase after Mickey before anything happens. It took quite a while for Giles to answer the phone, and when he did, he sounded terrible. They quickly got past his complaints and brought him up to speed on the situation.
You say Makisha was attacked last night, and now she's riding on top of your mother's car?
That's the gist of it, yeah. We're missing a lot of details, but I need you to get in your car and get to the Try and Save ASAP. There's a devil after my mom, and I don't know why. You need to stop her. The line relayed a long-suffering sigh.
Fine.
The car ride was fun. Mickey used the tilt of her wings to let the airflow keep her in place. Even without the ability to fly, she had an instinctive understanding of aerodynamics, and she used her hell-boosted strength to cling onto the roof bars. As she'd hoped, her presence on top of the car was so unlikely and improbable that her illusion went into overdrive. Nobody in the other cars gave her so much as a glance. And she was hitching a lift with Buffy's mom. How cool was that? It was really lucky that she'd overheard the girl talking, and now she was going to find out where Buffy lived. This was way simpler than trying to follow the warrior girl home. Mickey was pretty sure there were some super senses at work, and sneaking up on Buffy would be difficult. Buffy's mom drove pretty fast, though, and this seemed to be one of those big roads where everybody raced along between towns. Did Buffy live a long way away? That seemed unlikely. The other kids walked to and from the school. So she clung on and just enjoyed the ride. Everything would make sense eventually. Sure enough, the car turned off the speedy road and back onto some normal streets. It pulled into a parking lot outside a giant store, and Mickey glared at it. This wasn't Buffy's home. This was a shopping trip. Still, it wasn't a complete disaster, and Mickey could still learn something of value. Jack always said surveillance was the best way to gather intelligence, which in this case meant clues rather than brain smarts. She might learn something about Buffy from the stuff her mom bought at the shops, for instance. That could be useful. Maybe they sold magic strength potions or something. The car door creaked open and Buffy's mom stepped out. Not wanting to be spotted, Mickey dived for cover, dropping neatly into a gap between two other vehicles. The woman blinked, puzzled when the car rocked slightly on its springs, but after a curious blink she closed the door and headed off to the store to pick up a trolley. Eyes narrowed, Mickey watched through several car windows. Jack was an expert at sneaking, and had done his best to pass on his skills, but Mickey had her own methods, not least being the illusion of normalcy. She could walk calmly behind Buffy's mom for several minutes without attracting any undue attention, for example, but that wasn't the same as being unseen. For this mission, unseen was definitely better. Mickey switched her outfit to something less schoolish, a dark pinstripe business suit and glasses. She flicked her hair into a single long ponytail and manifested herself a large flat handbag, where a respectable human woman like herself might keep her money and documents and brass knuckles and things like that. Suitably disguised, she strode out in pursuit of Buffy's mom. The blonde woman did look a little bit like Buffy, but she was way taller. It was funny how sometimes humans looked like their family members. Mickey never had much in common with her 16 siblings, aside from the obvious, and she certainly didn't think she looked anything like her mother. She shuddered with distantly remembered fear of the tyrannical matriarch. Jogging to keep up, she tagged along as the woman headed for the doors, pushing a shopping trolley. The imp didn't bother with the trolley, instead snagging one of the wire baskets. Shopping wasn't really part of the plan, but it made sense to at least play along. The illusion or normalcy was flexible and powerful, but worked better when she got the details right. As the doors slid open by themselves, Mickey ducked inside, habitually scanning her surroundings for danger. Despite being fairly early in the morning, there were a lot of people here, and there was so much stuff to see. The inside of the store was huge, with a super high ceiling and rows of shelves that towered way higher than anybody could ever reach. Ever. Even really tall people. Since items once stored inside manifested the object she magics into being, does she have brass knuckles in that handbag? What do you think, John?
It was just an example of things a respectable human woman would have. But she could have some in there. No reason why not.
A store this size must have hundreds of everything. So many boxes and cans and bottles and weirdly shaped stuff. How did anybody find what they wanted? Or was it something simpler? Oh, hello, Eva. Good to see you again. Good day to you. Maybe everything was so awesome you just picked up whatever looked right and sorted it out when you got home. That would be a cool system. It'd make shopping faster and more exciting for sure. But Buffy's mom probably had a system. She decided to watch and learn, turning her attention back to the mission. Only problem? The woman was nowhere to be seen. Just for an instant, Mickey panicked and tried to look everywhere at once. She let out a tiny eep of alarm as she imagined she'd walked into a trap. Thankfully, nothing happened. There was no trap. Buffy's mom was shopping and would be found somewhere in the store. Well, she should be easy enough to find. To her dismay, however, skipping past the ends of the first 3 aisles yielded no sight of the target. She ran back and checked them again, then checked the next couple of aisles as well. Had the woman turned around and left the store while Mickey was distracted? Mickey blinked herself to the door and ran outside to check the car was still there. It was, though it took a worryingly long time to locate it among all the others. They all looked the same. She ran back inside, head spinning. What had she missed? The invisible mother trick, a classic when shopping. Many a child has faced the terror. That's definitely the play here. Mickey should start wailing and crying and until the store staff reunite her with Mom. Wait, no, she was trying to go unseen. No, that trick won't work. Aha! There was stuff to buy stacked up on the ends of the aisles. Maybe Buffy's mom was looking at those way up at the other end when Mickey had run past. Mickey frowned at her silliness and ran down the first aisle to check the ends. Once she got there, she found another row of aisles separated by a wide central path. No sign of Buffy's mom, and now there were 3 possible ends where she could be hiding. The most obvious search pattern was to quickly walk up the middle, scanning left and right as she went to check all the aisles. So that's what she did. Now look. It gives you anxiety just hearing this. She frowned to herself and ran to check the back wall of the store. Again, no sign of the woman. Lots of other people milling around, pushing their carts full of stuff, but no sign of Buffy's mom. Had Mickey somehow forgotten what she looked like? Perhaps she'd found some clothing to try on and now looked different? Maybe the experienced shoppers knew some secret shortcuts or something to get around the store and find the best stuff. Maybe there was a part of the store that Mickey wouldn't find just by walking about. Why was everything so difficult? Just then, a loud voice echoed from the rafters. Attention shoppers, this is a customer announcement. Can Makisha Nichols please report to customer services? Makisha Nichols to the customer services desk. Thank you. The message signed off with a little jingle, and Mickey stared up at the ceiling in wonder. What's that?
Just doing a bing bong.
Bing bong. How did they know her name? It can't have been magic, because that wasn't really her real name, just something she'd invented to fit into human society. Heck, she didn't even know her true name, but then she wasn't a demon, so it didn't really matter. Huh. So, how does one have a true name that one doesn't even know? Where does it come from, then?
Higher magic than Mickey's pay grade. It is explained later.
Oh, okay. So we will get into
Everything does end up in the story.
Okay, so we will get into the mechanics of true names later. Yeah, I mean, being who I am, I find the topic of true names kind of interesting for personal reasons. Like,
In
I
this
think it would be,
context,
I think it would be kind of offensive if my true name were the legal one written on paperwork that my parents gave me by this point. But the the names that I've adopted for myself, that's so pliable. You can't, like, the whole point is that, like, if somebody knows your true name, they have power over you. It shouldn't be something you can just kind of sit down in an afternoon and decide on a new one, right?
when Mickey was promoted and became Mikisha, there are more syllables to discover as she realizes who she is as she grows into her true potential and then discovers her true name.
So perhaps, as my life has gone on, I too have been leveling up into my true name, and what I have now is far closer to the real thing than the one that I had, a few years ago, or the one that I had when I was born, huh?
Keep working on it.
Will do. I still haven't entirely decided on a middle name, after all. So who knew she was here? It had to be somebody who knew her, but all the kids she knew would be at school, and the only adults she knew were teachers, also at school, Snyder, ditto, Giles, ditto again, and Angel, who was probably hiding somewhere away from the sun. She turned the facts over for a bit and decided the message wasn't for her. There must be somebody else called Makisha Nichols. She gasped for a moment at the idea that this world might have its own version of her, but logically, in this universe, she'd still be an ordinary imp, stuck in the depths of hell. So it must just be a coincidence. She might have even misheard the message. The crackly, echoing voice turned most of it into blarg, blarg, honk noises anyway. One mystery resolved to her satisfaction, she got back to the task of finding Buffy's mom. She probably had all her shopping by now, which meant there wasn't much left for Mickey to learn, but she could at least hitch another ride on the car, and this time it would hopefully head back home. Mickey ran for the checkout area, zipping around the slow-moving shoppers and vaulting past a pair of chattering old ladies. She narrowed her eyes as she approached the lines, quickly scanning without getting too close. There were too many lines to keep watch over, but they all ended up at the exit door after paying for their stuff, so that was the spot she needed to watch. She decided to lean casually against the wall and scan the crowd as they filtered by. Trying to remember, was there a plot point that, like, Joyce was having an affair with someone or something? Like, what is actually going on here?
Joyce and Giles had a thing in Band Candy. That's in season 3.
Okay.
I sent you a sketch on Discord of Mickey riding on the car.
Oh, fun. Okay.
It is just a scribble, though.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, looking badass there, Mickey. Giles had decided against trying to search the store, but no other approach seemed immediately appropriate. The call over the public address system hadn't worked, and honestly, he hadn't really expected it to. If Makisha was doing something untoward, she wouldn't want to be found. And even if she wasn't, the odds were heavily stacked against her complying with instructions from an unknown source. According to his books, Zaradai imps were notoriously disobedient by nature. He considered requesting another call, this time for Joyce Summers, but he didn't want to spook the woman, or worse, have to explain himself when she came to investigate. He would need to invent some story and claim Buffy had asked him to come find her, but there would have to be some matter of exceptionally bizarre and pressing urgency to justify sending a school librarian in person to find a student's mother. He scratched his head, polished his glasses, and tried desperately to conjure up some kind of plan. If he couldn't think of anything, he might have to resort to running around the store like an idiot after all, and he was far too tired for that sort of exertion. Just then, by a stroke of luck, he spotted Makisha, standing alone near the checkout lanes. He rolled his eyes skyward and muttered a benediction, then trotted over to her side. Not wanting to alarm the girl, he stopped a short distance away and gave a discreet cough. She didn't appear to notice, although he imagined he saw one pointy ear twitch ever so slightly.
Ahem?
This time, she did notice, and deigned to glance his way. She regarded him with raised eyebrows for a long second, shrugged, and went back to watching the lanes. Giles blinked.
Makisha? It's me, Mr. Giles, from the school library.
This time, she turned to face him, a baffly look on her face. I know that, silly.
Is everything all right? You're ignoring me.
I'm alright, yeah. Was that you trying to get my attention? Cleaning your throat?
It's clearing.
He corrected, slightly pained.
And yes, I was trying to be subtle.
Mickey shrugged. I think I'm immune to subtle.
Buffy told me you rode here on top of a car?
She brightened up a little. Oh, yeah. That was cool.
If it's all right with you, I'd like you to come back to the school. I have a car, but you'll have to ride on the inside.
Aww.
Might I ask what you were trying to do?
Information gathering. I saw an opportunity, so I pounced. She pouted a little. I didn't learn anything, though. Mission failed.
I'm sure there's an easier way to find whatever it is you're after. Have you tried asking Buffy?
Well, riding on top of a car does sound like immune to subtle. Yeah, I guess so. Mickey's reply was interrupted by the loud report of heeled shoes screeching to a halt, accompanied by the rattle of a shopping cart coming to a shuddering stop. Giles turned, meeting the querulous gaze of Joyce Summers, who looked puzzled and surprised in equal measure. Asking Buffy what? She asked. Okay, so there wasn't anything goofy going on with Joyce. It really just was Mickey having bad luck trying to spot her among the aisles, huh?
Yeah. No, I have a similar thing. My girlfriend's quite short. And oh, absolutely a ninja.
I guess sometimes that does happen with me and Moth, too.
It's like, where are you?
I duck aside to fetch something for her, and I turn back around. I was like, wait, okay, where'd she go?
Crawled into the freezers, hiding behind the dog food. Could be anywhere.
Pretty sure that random appearing is part of the invisible mother trick. Poof, there she is. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that means that you can summon mom by getting up to something naughty, right?
Or picking up sweets.
Yeah. Okay,
that was a long chapter. That was nearly 4,700 words. This one's only 2,000.
Okay, that should be perfect then. That'll probably take us
Race
to...
through this one.
Okay, Archive of Our Own has been a little slow today, so hopefully next page will load in soon. I have started getting the itch to do some more writing again on AO3. I have this sprawling Octopath Traveler fic that I had started and abandoned, as is my wont. But I've started getting a tickle for one of the branches of it again. Somebody had commented on the fic saying that they wanted to see the priest character next. And okay, so I'm starting to outline in my head the way that's gonna look. So really outlining is what I ought to do. I think I do better as a planner than a pantser. If I put down the concept of each chapter, I'm far more likely to write it rather than just kind of taking things spontaneously. Currently trying to homebrew a TTRPG rule set. Ooh. So completely from scratch, or a hack, or a modification to another rule set? Alright, chapter 27 is She's from Europe. A turn of phrase that has been used several times already, sometimes in kind of a she got too close to sin kind of way. More or less from scratch. Awesome. If I would love to shop with you about your process, Runicorn. If you want to start a thread about it in the castle or something, I would sink my teeth into that any day. Because I used to do a fair bit of TTRPG design myself. I self-published one. Like it needs a huge rewrite. Like if I were to design it today, there are several things that I would do substantially differently, but it is a thing that's in my wheelhouse, so if interested, 'tis an invitation. Oh yeah, gosh, just hitting page down, the scroll bar has ticked forward quite a bit more than on the previous. So far, literally just now. It's fair enough. That's fine though. Like, if you want to even talk about your source of inspiration, the concept, the goals, I am here for it. No pressure, but just saying, if you are interested in having a semi-experienced voice help you with those many choices to make, 'tis out there. Joyce was mildly astonished to find the school librarian hanging out in the supermarket, especially during school hours. Obviously, the man had to get his groceries somewhere, but somehow she'd never expected to run into him here. It felt weirdly out of context. If he hadn't chosen that moment to say Buffy's name out loud, she might have walked right past him. He seemed more than a little surprised to see her as well.
It's Thomas. So good to see you. Fancy meeting you here. Yes, yes.
He glanced down to the girl standing beside him, a petite little thing with black hair and dark eyes.
I'm supervising a student. That is, we're supposed to be here. On school business. All very normal and above board.
The girl gave her a smile and nodded politely. Hi, I'm Mikisa. The girl's accent was a little odd, and Joyce put the pieces together immediately. You're the exchange student Buffy mentioned. Giles nodded eagerly.
Yes, that's right. She's from Europe.
Where in Europe, if you don't mind me asking? Buffy didn't seem to know.
Well...
He blinked, swallowed.
I'm not sure myself, honestly.
He glanced back to the girl, who gave a little smirk before replying. I'm from Moldova. Mr. Giles is helping me with the project. For school. A field trip? Just the two of you? I'm surprised the principal allowed that. Mikisha smiled. Yeah, well, Snyder's pretty cool. Joyce gave Giles a puzzled look. First time I've heard anybody say that. Giles took off his glasses and started polishing them, looking deeply uncomfortable. So, what did you want to ask Buffy? Joyce prompted. Oh, Mikisha bit her lip. I wanted to get Willow a gift, because she's been so helpful, but I don't really know what she'd like. Mr. Giles seized on this immediately.
Yes, and I suggested, what with Buffy being Willow's closest friend.
The girl turned to frown up at him. No, she's not. Xander is. Joyce chuckled at the interruption. That's true. Those two have been friends since kindergarten, but I think Buffy would be the better choice for gift advice. Buffy is Willow's best female friend. Is there a specific reason for Moldova, or just a random country?
Of course, there's a reason.
There's always a reason. Is that another thing that's yet to come up?
In this very chapter, I think.
Oh, okay. We'll get there momentarily, apparently. So hold tight, Renicoin. All your curiosity shall be satisfied. Makisha nodded slowly. Okay. That makes sense. I'm finding it tricky because I don't know what sort of thing would make an acceptable gift. I don't really know what the rules are in this world.
Country.
Coughed Giles.
She means country. Cultural differences and all that. Quite. I had a similar period of adjustment myself, as a matter of fact.
The girl looked confused, and Joyce felt a pang of sympathy for her. If in doubt, pick up a gift card, she suggested. They're practically money, and she can trade it in to get something that's right for her. Like money? I always say money is the best gift, but Jack keeps tracking down silly stuff for me instead. I like money. I like when it's shiny. That gave Joyce pause. Buffy's comments had suggested the girl was poor or in some way disadvantaged. She was certainly small, suggesting that they didn't feed her much back in Moldova, but her little business suit was absolutely darling. Buffy asked me about inviting you around one day for a meal. I don't suppose she's mentioned anything to you yet? To your house? For food? The girl blinked. Nuh-uh. Or not yet, anyway. Joyce wasn't surprised. The conversation was only yesterday, after all, despite it being several chapters ago. I was going to cook a big casserole this evening, and there's sure to be plenty extra if you'd like to come along. We usually end up freezing half of it. Giles looked even more uncomfortable, as though perhaps he wanted an invitation too, but Makisha looked delighted. Wow, okay, sure. Tonight, then? If you let Buffy know, she'll give you the address. We usually eat around 7. Cool. Thanks very much. I'll tell her when I see her. Joyce gave the girl a smile and said her goodbyes. Mr. Giles still looked inexplicably nervous, but an Englishman was probably the worst possible person to explain American culture to a foreigner. No wonder he was struggling. As Joyce left the store, Giles turned to the Devil Girl.
Moldova?
Clever, huh? Well, okay, not quite explained yet. Just lampshaded. Okay. I've already noticed that you're a terrible liar, Cordelia had told her the night before. I mean, you're not good at it. I'm not calling you terrible. I'm just surprised is all. I thought devils were supposed to be good at lying. You're thinking of the father of lies. But that's just one guy. Devils are all different. We have lots of different types. I'm a Zeradai imp, which means I used to be really tiny. Cordelia looked at her critically. You still are really tiny. I mean, how much tinier could you be? Zeradai are about 6 inches tall. That's crazy. You used to be some kind of hell fairy? Yeah, that's why I'm so adorable. She fluttered her eyelashes and Cordelia laughed. Fairies are cute in this world, right? Yes, fairies are cute. Also fictional. Fairies aren't real. Neither are vampires. I think it's best to keep an open mind. I'm open-minded, protested the cheerleader mildly. I helped you, didn't I? Even though I thought you were a monster. Mickey nodded. Yeah, that was nice. Otherwise, it's anti-devil discrimination. You guess fairy cuteness depends on who you ask? It is generally... I would think that as far as upon the cultural average, that fairy artwork and character design is pitched in a cute way and oft accepted as such. But that's like, I mean, we are talking 1990s after all. We're not talking like, because like in the post-Disney era of fairy concept, not like Banshee, right? Yeah. I am not a racist. This time the girl was a little more firm. I have several friends who are people of color, and we're all the same under the skin, right? I mean, probably not you, I expect, but you know what I mean. Yeah, you get born, you do stuff, you die, you go to hell. It's the same for everyone. Exactly. Wait, what? It's always the same everywhere I go, but at least here I can be human. This is the first time I've been able to blend in and just be normal. It's actually kind of weird. So, when you were posing as a mutant, how did they not realize you're actually some kind of magical creature? I mean, surely the wings and the tail were a clue, and the horns, even the ears? It was a pretty crazy world, and most people expect mutants to look like freaks anyway, which is funny, really. Most exemplar class mutants end up super attractive and clever and stuff. But not always? Oh no. Sometimes it goes wrong, and they end up looking like freaky monsters. So that was my excuse for looking like I do. Mutant powers. Cordelia shrugged, smiling a little. That's actually pretty clever. I guess you're better at lying than I thought. Yeah, well, it was really all Jack's idea. I mean, I'm okay at making things up, but sometimes I go a little crazy. She chuckled. I'm not from here, so I don't know what people will accept as real. Like, my illusion makes me look normal, but I have no idea what that really means. People say I look pretty much the same, but it sucks not knowing. Cordelia raised a brow. You can't just look in a mirror or something? Miki shook her head. Nope. And you can't see the illusion now either. Once you've seen past it, it'll never work on you again. How about a photograph? No, doesn't work on cameras. Cordy snapped her fingers. We'll get one of the art nerds to draw you. That shouldn't take too much arm twisting. You're easily attractive enough to hold their attention. You think so? I'm talking about teenage boys. The bar isn't especially high. Right, she deadpanned. Thanks. I guess I should get my backstory straight, though, if I'm going to be hanging around more people. You really should, agreed Cordy. The trick is to know all the details, but don't give everything away at once. Don't over-explain things. Keep them in reserve until they're needed. You don't want to run out of stuff you can say. Gotcha. So, first problem. Where are you from? That was easy. Europe. Where, though? Which country? Europe's not a country? Cordelia sighed. No. Hold on. My dad has a globe in his study. Giles listened as he drove Mikisha back toward the school.
So you picked Moldova from a map? At random?
It's not random. I had good reasons.
Such as the name sounding funny?
It sounds like mold, laughed the imp. But that's not the reason either. Do you know what language they speak in Moldova? Romanian. Same as the computer lady.
Jenny has a Romanian uncle, yes, she said. And Cordelia Chase helped you come up with this, did she?
Yeah. She says I need to work on the quality and depth of my lies, or I'm going to get in trouble.
Right. Of course she did.
If he hadn't had both hands on the wheel, He would have been cleaning his glasses about now. The imp's comparative innocence, so to speak, was the only thing keeping her impressive powers in check. God help them all if she suddenly learned how to be sneaky and underhanded.
I was under the impression Miss Chase wasn't especially enamored of you.
Mickey tilted her head. Unarmored? He sighed.
I didn't think she liked you. Something about Principal Snyder giving her detention for bullying?
Oh, that's all sorted out. We're friends now, so I asked him to let her off.
You did? And he agreed?
Sure, he likes me.
Well, wonder of wonders.
She twisted in the seat to fix him with a frown. I'm extremely likable, she insisted.
Yes, I dare say so.
All of my friends like me.
Well, yes, I suppose I'd have to, speaking logically.
Although, Cordy thinks Snyder only likes me because I make him look tall. Giles fought to keep the smirk from his face.
That's certainly a reasonable hypothesis.
So you can speak any language? Cordy had asked, suitably impressed. Anything? Pretty much. I don't really know the rules. It's a magic thing. My friend made it for me as a gift. Well, that's quite a useful talent to have. Still not as useful as being super strong, but useful. It means we don't have to pick an English-speaking country for your backstory. She looked thoughtful then. Do you actually speak English, or is the spell translating it from devil talk? Oh, I understand you okay. I can even read and write a bit. Mickey had shrugged. Just wait till I get the rest of my powers working. The other things on that ID card, you mean? No, those are boring. I didn't have any magic when I did the testing for the card, so none of the cool stuff was working. I should be able to fly, for starters. Cordelia frowned. Yeah, what's with that? You have wings, but you can't fly? It's a science thing. I'm 10 times my original size, which means I weigh 100 million times more than my wings can carry. Mickey wasn't sure about the numbers from the square cube thing, but it felt accurate enough to make her point. She didn't have to be 100 million% accurate. She sighed, shook her head sadly. When I'm fully powered, I can do all kinds of stuff. Throw fireballs, walk through walls, hover, change back to my real size. Real size? You mean shrink to tiny size? I'm still awesome when I'm tiny. Just you wait. You have a plan, then? To get more power? Oh, yeah. So much power. I might even be able to do the stuff I never mastered. Like shapeshifting. I never got the hang of that. You've tried? Cordelia imagined the things a mischievous mind could do with shapeshifting powers. I was supposed to learn how ages ago, but part of the trick is forgetting who you are, and I'm not good at that. They said my sense of identity is too strong. That's an interesting piece of the puzzle. I've been reading the Young Wizard books by Diane Duane, and that's actually kind of a bit about the shapeshifting works in that. You have to, get into the mindset of the creature you're trying to be and sort of let go of your humanity. And one of the dangers is that you forget who you are too completely and get stuck. So it's impossible? Even with magic? No way! If you're powerful enough, you can force it. I can't wait to try it. For real, I mean, not just my clothes. Tell me more about the clothes thing. That's a power I can appreciate. So the language is made up of blinks and lights. She could speak it. Can she speak whale? Funnily enough, the very creatures that the book I'm reading right now has the whole shape-shifting plot has to do with turning into whales.
depends if the whales tried to talk to her. She might understand it.
So she
Mickey's
couldn't.
translation spell has come from a creator goddess.
So she couldn't just dunk her head into the water where whales were singing and understand what they were singing about. But if she were out swimming among the whales and the whales tried to communicate with her, she might be able to pick up on it.
Mickey's actual singing is probably not that far removed from whale song.
Hmm.
She's all about volume and enthusiasm.
All right. Well, we will leave off the reading there for today. Just 2 chapters, but it is progress, and I have a respectable amount of time to get prettied up for a brunch outing. Thank you, as always, for sharing your story with us, John, and for joining me on the stream. Any...
Proofreading. A load of spelling mistakes to go and fix.
Always. Any closing commentary, sneak previews, or so on and so forth that you'd like to leave us with on our outro here?
I don't suppose there's any way for you to share a picture, is there?
Yes, I can, indeed. It takes a couple of steps, but it is not difficult. What would you like me to show?
Next chapter is Dodgeball.
Dodgeball? Okay.
And I do have a picture, and I've sent it to your Discord.
Okay, give me 1 minute, and I will, let's see. Just drop that in the downloads for the moment.
So we do have a physical contest of who wins if Buffy's on one team and Mickey's on the other.
Yeah, we did have a brief scuffle, but now we will actually have
Angel got in the way.
a thing that will go to conclusion and have a winner declared. All right, let's see if this shows up right. Okay, it's taking up the entire screen, but let me scale it more properly. All right, that is our chapter preview there. Mickey at the dodgeball.
I'll resend the Mickey at shopping as well.
Oh, right. No, you don't need to. Oh, yeah. I could have just downloaded it and set it up like that. But yeah. Okay. So that's our next chapter preview. The image that John drew of the chapters we just finished.
Mickey's jumper there does not quite say Sunnydale because she can't spell or read.
Oh, okay.
Kind of improvises. So when somebody looks at it, it's like, what the hell?
Here's Giles and Mickey looking sharp in the try and save. Winner's the ball. Winner's always the ball. Cheats plays for both teams. Yeah, and sometimes you get smacked in the head and attain enlightenment and realize that the world is a lie and needs to be torn down to show everyone the truth behind it.
That went dark.
That was a plot point from a different story that I read on stream a while back. That was from The Fable of the Swan by Jenna Moran, which is just an old favorite novel of mine. It's very surreal, very funny, and very Jenna Moran. I don't know if you're familiar with her work at all. She designed the tabletop role-playing game Nobilis, as well as Chubo's Marvelous Wish-Granting Engine. Yeah, so what do you call it? Okay, my brain is going blank. Someone you look up to, but who doesn't know you.
Inspiration?
Inspiration,
Muse?
yeah, something. Yeah. Inspirational figure of mine, yeah. All right. Well, so no Buffy stream next week because you are going on another adventure.
Aye.
Unless you're available like the Saturday or something of that weekend.
We're driving on the Saturday.
Driving on the Saturday. Okay, so out and about that whole weekend. All right. In that case,
As an aside, if anybody's interested in reading, the prequel to this story is going up on AO3. It's called Wrath of the Sunbeam. I've only got a few chapters uploaded.
Okay. Yeah, I did notice when I opened up the story this time that it was now noted as part 2 of Mickey the Imp. Yeah.
I've got 7 chapters of Mickey and Jack having adventures in a world that has superheroes.
Right, okay. The whole setting with the mutant ID cards and whatnot.
Although Mickey has no magic in that realm, and Jack, the former Wolfman, is reduced to a feral shape. So he can't talk or run around shooting people or any of that good stuff.
But because Mickey can understand all forms of communication, like we were just speaking about, she can still talk with Jack and he can still continue to mentor her, even though he can't, provide physical demonstrations of fighting techniques or anything.
It's not the language power. They are actually soulmates. They're linked. So she can hear him thinking.
I see.
He has powers. He's a legitimate superhero from the old Heroes Unlimited rulebook.
Right. Yes, Heroes Unlimited. That was the one that I played for a little bit with my psychic professor character.
Dr. Ethan Bannister.
Barrister. Yeah, which was the name that you made fun of me for because it was like Dr. Lawyer, right? I just thought it sounded fun.
Is it Barrister or Bannister? I've misremembered.
No, it was
Bannister.
definitely Barrister because I remember the whole conversation about, no, that's just a word for lawyer. I'm like, all right, fine. Yeah, I mean, Smith is just a word for somebody who makes stuff, so why not, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a fun game. Even if my character was kind of, I don't know, kind of creepy to get into the headspace of.
He was creepy.
Yeah.
He was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun to have around, but he was
having those
creepy.
role plays with you and I. So, I haven't heard from Eyes since we friended up on Discord. Like he sent me like one picture or link to something a few days after you and I and he all talked together, and he's just vanished ever since, and not heard further from him.
He's not dead. Sure of that.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear it.
He said, ha the other day to something. So yeah, he's still picking it up.
So it sounds like if I want to hear from him, I should take the initiative and be the one to poke him every so often.
Yeah.
Hey, thinking about you, my dude.
Wolf.
How's it been? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I should be along on my way, change clothes, put on some perfume, all that good stuff. Until next time, my friends, live with honor and your heart is unassailable. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Oh, hey, by the way, you completely forgot to introduce my new look here. Oh, you're right. Yeah, I don't... nobody pointed it out. Nobody mentioned it. Alternative PNG here for Addie. I still like the other PNG. I might kind of alternate back and forth, but depending on my mood. But I commissioned a new avatar for him from an old friend, Lycoris Rodentia, like a Rat King. I don't know if Evo Machine is still in the chat, but now Adelath has a little... This is a little bit more realistic proportions. I mean, he kind of looks like he's the right height. Although the proportions are still a little stylized, but he doesn't look like a short king. Also, it's artwork by a less troubled individual. No, I am no longer... Like, when I have this up, I'm not sitting next to the artwork of a troubled ex. Anyway, so yeah, like I think I still will use the other one because I really like the art style of it, regardless of where it came from. But yeah, now we have a couple options for displaying Adulath in my stream here. All right. Nobody's going to listen through to the end of the video just to get that. I feel a little bit cheated. All right, we'll use this PNG again next time. I'll shout you out again. It'll be fine. All right, enough. On to the outro. Goodbye, everybody.
Cheerio.
Let me go, there's no doubt. Gotta get out of this small town. You took my heart from me. Now you're everywhere I see. Set me free, let me fly. Let me find new kinds of highs. We're just wasting here, waiting for another year. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. I will surrender. Let me go on a new adventure. Explore the world and find my place. Hope you find some peace of mind. Hope the night was worth your time. Threw my heart away. We won't see another day. We both know the score. We've been here once before. So many words unspoken. You took my heart, it's already broken. You don't have to wait. I can take the pain. It's a new adventure. On a new adventure. You'll find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm I don't think of you. Don't call me up when you're feeling blue. You'll find me dancing on my own. Nowhere to be, nowhere to go. In the rhythm I don't think of you. Let me go. It's a new adventure. It's a new adventure. I will surrender. On a new adventure, I will surrender. Let me go on a new adventure.